Funny. Humour's subjective, that much we can say, slapstick and such, or clever wordplay. Random odd jokes, just absurdly confusing, whatever your preference, that you find amusing. Dark humour as well is part of the game, say something contentious without any shame. Pushing the boundaries of what can be said, stepping in places not many would tread. So I will ask you, how dark can it be before you decide that it just isn't funny? There is a killer whose style of joke is the manner in which he makes people croak. A brilliant detective who'd never be found, a swimming instructor who ironically drowned. Or some politician who choked on his tongue, not one single murder has yet been unsung. The killer at fault has not left a name, no message pertaining to take credit or blame, save for one feature to put to the task, one calling card, a skeletal mask. Upon seeing this, people took to their phones. In less than a day, it was dubbed Funny Bones. The whole thing shot off with unbelievable speed. It became an obsession, I should say indeed. Unlike most killers who had others vexed, people tuned in to see what came next. Over these months, more deaths have appeared. The killer seems happy with his work being cheered. Like the animal trainer who'd been caged like a beast, or a world-famous chef who'd been served at a feast. The bikini model who died in a freezer, that strange Funny Bones would first leave a teaser. The deaths that they saw became a welcome surprise. They laughed out aloud and tears filled their eyes. Clutching their sides as they fell to the floor, it's a hell of a show and the people want more. So it continues every once in a while, all watching out for that cold bony smile. I know how it sounds to a crazy degree, but just between us, do you think it's funny? Spooky. Childhood games in times gone past, making memories that hopefully last. Commonly found were imaginary friends, playing together to whatever ends. Fictional figures bringing nothing but glee, save for but one who darkens memory. This was a friend to make parents wary. Things would start fine, but quickly got scary. Spooky's his name, as children would say, telling them all he just wanted to play. His appearance was odd, as his name would suggest, close to a goblin, a nightmarish pest. Pale white skin and large bulging eyes, inverted knees and quite small in size. He had long fingers he'd curl in his palm, so when he moved they'd be safe from harm. When he was happy he'd tap on his teeth in a rhythmic percussion which beggars belief. But when he was angry, his eyes would turn black. He'd press on his fingers until each would crack. Once Spooky feels that he has their trust, he names a few favors he insists are a must. The first one to do is collect him some food. Vegetables, please, so not to be rude. The second odd task is to get him a drink, the one for adults which has a weird stink. The third, it would seem, is to fetch him a pot, a large one in fact, the biggest they've got. The very last one will chill to the bone when he asks the children to visit his home. Most are too smart, they know about strangers. Imaginary friends can pose numerous dangers. But if they agreed to what he had asked, then he could finish what he had been tasked. He'd come back once more, stuff them into a sack. He'd take them away, and they'd never come back. So that's his tale, But to keep you from scorning, I'll give you a hint, just one final warning. Kids are a laugh, they're wild and kooky, but watch out for yours if they talk to Spooky. Exciting. What makes you excited or gets your nerves jumping? What tingles your spine and gets the blood pumping? Maybe it's travel on a wondrous vacation, seeking new places, a grand exploration. For some it's creative, like music and art. It has them inspired and reaches their heart. Then there are those who go to get frights, diving with sharks or jump from great heights. An unending search to find the next thrill, trying out stunts that could literally kill. I was like this not too long ago. If life was a stage, I was in on the show. I've tried Russian roulette and jumped off of cranes. Fear common sense, I doubt any remains. When so close to death, I felt truly free, but after a while, it did nothing for me. Someone must have heard the thrills I was seeking. They made me an offer that just had me shrieking. It's all under wraps and highly exclusive to hunt down a prey that is very elusive. To just be a part, I felt almost shunted, but not as a hunter, I'm one of the hunted. The venue does change, so not to get boring, it uses kill counts as their way of scoring. I'm not given much, a canteen and a knife, then I must run and fight for my life. No killing of hunters, which is no surprise. While they can be harmed, we must spare their lives. They're all big spenders and people to fear. If they were to die, we'd all disappear. Despite of some rules, no one here are friends. You're out on your own to whatever ends. I've been preparing with all of my will to be the one hunted they just cannot kill. I'll fight till the last with both tooth and claw. I'll give them a hunt, leaving them wanting more. If I survive, I can always come back, save up some funds and give hunting a crack. I really can't wait. My nerves are just biting. As bad as it sounds, it's all too exciting. Surreal. Morning had come, and light shining through the window of one whose name is Andrew. Another day then, he said with a sigh, rubbing his face, his throat feeling dry. He got out of bed to prepare for the day, jerky for breakfast to keep hunger at bay. Locking his place, he made quick for work. If he kept running late, things would go berserk. Making his way while stuffing his face, just to be safe, he picked up his pace. The street's kind of busy with people and pets. They speak of good times and others of frets. A few groups of kids all walking around, backpacks prepared, for school they were bound. The sirens above had started to chime. Work was in sight, he'd made it on time. He now had arrived as others departed. With changing of shifts, it was time to get started. Climbing rickety stairs, his best not to fall, he sat at his station atop of the wall. He reached for his flask, the whiskey was soothing. He looked on ahead, the dead were still moving. The rot of their bodies could be smelled from afar. To cover this up, Andrew lit a cigar. He inhaled deep and furrowed his brow. He was saving these, but why bother now? Those ragged corpses still hunting for meat, flesh falling off from their heads to their feet. Some gargled out, others gnashed with their jaws, their thin bony fingers now filed to claws. Their sunken dead eyes would strike at your soul. Once you are theirs, they'd devour you whole. You could always kill them or leave them subdued. They'd always come back in their search for food. Their one destination felt so deeply graven as more every day made their way to this haven. Again and again they'd fight to get in, and he already knew they'd eventually win. What do you think, and how would you feel if you found yourself in a world so surreal? Good day, I'm Jar19 and thank you for listening. So what did you think of 4 Random Creepypastas Vol.II? Hopefully you found them to be funny, spooky, exciting, and surreal. These 4 random creepypastas were inspired by Vendetta Dylan. Link to his channel in the description. I've got some great titles lined up for a couple more videos, which I'll space out with other creepypastas and guides to survive in between. I hope that you enjoyed today's video. If you did, then perhaps subscribe, leave a like, and if you're feeling particularly cheeky, maybe even a comment. I do hope that you'll join me again. Stay safe, sleep well, but remember, here we make monsters.